us to start for the webinar. Okay, before we officially to introduce the Dr. Leon and the VIP, right, let me introduce you the Utah as just in case for those that are not familiar with Utah. So these Utah's the features. We have two campuses, the one at Kampra campus, the other one at the Sunnyalong campus. The Kampra is at Perak, the Sunnyalong is at the Selangor. And you can see that the picture of Kampra campus. And our alumni today and Dr. Leong actually are from the Kampra campus, the Faculty of Engineering and Engineering Technology. And this is Dr. Leong's background. So Dr. Leong is obtains the Bachelor of Civil Engineering and Environmental at the University of Hussein, and get the PhD under the Civil Engineering at the UM. Today we are proud to invite teams to ask the moderator today, and we have Mr. Chua Woon Kit and Mr. Christmas and our VIP today. So no longer ado, Dr. Leong, maybe like I pass the floor to you.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Tam, for your introductions. So let's just begin the webinar. Before that, let me introduce the two alumni from our department. So first we have Mr. Chua Woon Kit, who actually graduated from the University Tunku Abdul Rahman from the Department of Environmental Engineering in 2013. And currently now he's a senior project manager in Kianta Engineering Construction Private Limited in Singapore. Then next we have Mr. Kingsman Ng Wing Sam. He graduated from our department also in 2016. And currently he's an assistant sales manager in Semaidan, Sdn Bhd. So let's just welcome all of them. Thank you very much, Woon Kit and Kingsman, for joining us today over the weekend, and also share your inputs with the rest of the participants. I believe they are coming from the various background. They are maybe from the secondary school. They are currently maybe deciding, shall they want to take up an engineering course or any other engineering. Okay, so let me first ask Woon Kit, since you are the most senior, okay, why you choose environmental engineering? I think when you started your degree, I think you started your foundation with Utah?
No.
So yeah, you started with your degree back in 2010? 10? Yeah.
2010, yeah.
So for your informations, for the participant informations, Woon Kit is our first batch of students who actually kickstart the environmental engineering program in Utah. So maybe you share with us why you choose environmental engineering back in 2010.
Hi, okay, so hi everyone, I'm Wong Kit. Then yeah, as what Dr. Leong said, I am the first batch of the student for Utah Environmental Engineering program. Okay, so back to the time, right, I actually did my first, I enrolled in Utah as a civil engineer back to 2009. And that's the year that there's not launching the environmental engineering program yet. When it first started to launch, right, I can see the potential of the future trend that says that require a lot of the environmental conservative, some green technology introduction, which is definitely very useful for us as an engineering mindset to contribute to the society. We are tending to include those green elements or green technology into our knowledge. That's why I've been switching my course from previously civil engineering to environmental engineering. So that's how I've been starting my academic path in environmental engineering.
Okay, good. Thanks. How about Kingsman's? Why you choose environmental engineering? I think you graduated in 2016, meaning you joined us in 2014?
Actually, I joined Utah Foundation eventually. I actually started as a joint foundation. Then I actually continued further to my degree as an environmental engineer in Utah. So what actually attracts me, to be honest, is a bit more related to my family kind of thing related when it started. It was actually, there's few choices, but environmental was my priority or my first choice, probably because I was actually really into nature, first of all. That's my personal thing. Then next things, of course, I think Chua say that, upcoming in this future, environmental plays a bigger role. People tends to talk about environment, and then this is part and parcel of what I actually wanted to, to achieve in the future, to actually help to improve the environment, to actually, able to help the, our friends and family or even the public to actually notice about the importance of the environment. So this is why I chose this so-called the course lah at first. The intention of it.
Okay, good. So maybe this I'll keep it to the end. Okay, can I see like how you actually relate to what you're going to study later on? But this one I'll keep it at the end.
Yep.
But before that, let me move on to why choose Utah. Maybe
Okay.
Kingsman, you can go first.
Yep.
There's so many other universities out there, but why Utah?
Yeah, to be honest, it is really a good question because I have been, going to from university to universities, and during, after Form 5, you tend to go for a lot of universities just to understand, to understand what you really want. I believe a lot of people also want to try out to see what are the suitable courses and stuff. So when I came to Utah, it was Utah Kampa. So of course, the first thing really to attract me in terms of that is the environment here, the nature, everything. So that shows case how, so to me personally, I feel that how a university should have, like at a secluded area, and then area focus, and then so that's what attracts me the first thing actually for Utah. Then of course further on that, of course I do have a scholarship from Utah at that point. So for the foundation time during the foundation though, so that was a plus point on that. So then eventually I joined Utah for that purpose.
Okay, since you touch on to the scholarship, maybe you can explain a little bit, like is it a full scholarships or what type of scholarship you actually get from?
It's actually from Utah. Basing on the result, they give a full scholarship for foundation, of course.
So you get a full waiver of your tuition fees for your foundation study.
Yep.
Okay, that's good. Okay, how about Wong Kit? Why Utah?
Okay, so I pursue my secondary school time as a UEC, the Unified Examiner Certificate graduate. Okay, so there's a 读中 as what it shows in the Malaysia education system. So this actually limits us to pursue further our studies in locally. It's like getting our graduate pathway quite limited. It's only either like private universities or just only getting overseas. So you become like my choice of studying local is considered limited already. Okay, then I was like thinking, when I consider as a local, then definitely I was like figuring out those, you say, reputable, or maybe even though they're giving a kind of good kind of feedbacks. We say public feedbacks, all these, we say the university giving the good reputation across all this. I've been taking this into the consideration, and then I was actually, I think, to do a lot of comparison between those like private U and also Utah. But fortunately to say that the Utah really give a quite very affordable tuition fees to, especially for the students like me, which is not really come up with born in a real silver spoon or this kind of like family background. Okay, then moreover, I would say the graduates feedbacks. Because we also give go and study through what's the career path of all the graduates after they graduate from Utah and compared to other university. Then I found out among these graduates, right, especially when I tend to like pursue my career overseas, right, then Utah actually gives a very good, we say, opportunity to provide a better career progression in overseas, not just overseas, I would say local as well. You like very easily can get a very good job, and yes, we are like being respected and being treated well. Oh, you are coming from Utah. Wow, that's a very good university. That's the kind of feedback I received. So thank God until now when you're giving me another second opportunity to choose, Utah will still be my choice in pursuing my tertiary education.
Good. Okay, the other things I will ask you later is like how you can get yourself into the Singapore market, but that one I keep for a while first. So maybe I move on to the next question. Maybe now we get Klinsmann to actually share with us how is your student life back in Utah. This I think will definitely give a better ideas for the participants who are actually still deciding, shall they actually take up the environmental engineering course, or shall they actually join Utah and maybe next year or what? Okay, so maybe can you actually share with us like what's your Utah student life back in Kampa campus. And after that, maybe you can also share with us what you are currently doing and what is your previous job. Yep.
All right, allow me to share my screen first, right? Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
All right, so this is a very summary. I mean, there are definitely a lot of photos, but I just summarize it in one slide. So basically, during my time in university in Utah, it was really, I would say it was one of the best period of time because choosing environmental itself is a new challenge, to be honest, because a lot of people tend to have different ideas about environment. People thought that, environment doesn't have a future whatsoever, but that actually gave me this kind of push and a challenge to me to say that, well, that's what people say is what I can, perform from here, So eventually I chose this course and I have no regrets, like what Charles said, actually, I have no regrets at all, going to this university because as you can see, during the time as an environmental, we have to go through all these courses, we have to actually go to our site visits, we have to do experiments. As you can see, we have a lot of all these site visits. We eventually even have to present our, if not mistaken, is our FYP to some of the schools, So this actually creates the confidence level in myself. Because to present in public is actually, I believe a lot of people will have this hard time to actually present it because it requires a courage, really big courage to actually present to public. So it actually helps me a lot on that. Then secondly, in terms of in terms of these experiments, it's actually taught us a lot of hands-on. You don't just read from the books and just technical and reading, that's all. But that's what Utah is good in, is actually they also focus on the technicals, on hands-on part, whereby you have to go to site, to actually visit the site, and actually when to do experiments, you actually have to hands-on to do. So of course, those are the ones that actually boost up your understandings. Okay, it doesn't just read, because a lot of people might thought that this is about reading, you going university is about reading, but don't think about that, because it involves more than that. It creates more, I would say, creativity as well, because when you hands-on to something, you will tend to think more. You will try to figure out how to resolve a problem. Let's say, for example, when you're doing experiment, you tend to have to think out of the box. How should I resolve this? And then you will tend to go online to look for more answers to that. So those are the things that will create this kind of a very good learning environment for you. So like I say, no regrets at all. Especially on top of that, I would say, other than the cost, I would say that the second interesting part of Utah is actually the events. Okay, so since when I came in, I actually joined the ice breaking, okay, but as a participant. But after that, I find that, I should do something with it. I want to participate in, really enjoy what a university life should be. So I actually joined a lot of events, participated as part of the event organizers. Eventually, we also created a green team with my actually classmate. So those were the I would say, happy and proud moments that I have with my classmates. We were one of those that actually created a green team and then created a lot of events to boost up the people's acknowledgement and also the understanding about environment. So these are some of those interesting kind of I would say, part and parcel of what makes university in Utah, what makes Utah a special university. It allows you to enjoy at both sides, study and also in events.
Maybe Kingsman, can you tell us a little bit more about this green team? Like, I see a lot of your extracurricular activities photos here, but maybe your green team, how you actually set up this green team and what you actually do, and maybe you can also share with us like how this involvement in this extracurricular activity actually shape you to be a better person, or actually prepare you to be in the market. So maybe you can touch on a little bit on that. Yeah.
Okay, so the first question is on green team. So the green team was actually motivated by another I would say external party. All right, I don't want to mention the name, but it was by an external party. It was motivated to say that, when you want to do something and especially related to environment, you don't just say it, but you just do it, kind of thing. So I wanted to actually, I discussed with my classmates to actually think of something that, like how do we influence the others? I believe through events, or because during the university life, what else you can do other than that, right? So events is the best way to actually create the awareness, get people attention into this kind of environment. So we started off with, actually, our classmates, we actually fork out money ourselves, we do the events ourselves, and it eventually creates, I didn't expect there's a momentum on that. Actually, people start to look into this, and then they actually, because we do have this kind of name list to list down who are the participants. So we were quite shocked at the first time, there's many people actually came to our event to actually join and then understand what happened, what's happening surrounding, especially on the environment side. So it was started with recycling, actually. Okay. So we were using recycling things to actually convert it to something, it can be useful for your life and stuff like that. So it caught a lot of attention. I will still say that really thanks to my team, my friends actually on making this happen. So we actually have a few events down after that. Since the first event, we know there's an attraction. So eventually we created more than that, a few more rounds before we end prior to our FYP before our final year. So in terms of how events actually shape me, is more on the social skill. How do you talk to how do you talk to your teammates? Like, do you want to just to be a boss, or do you want to be a leader? Right, boss and leader will separate totally, because boss will just ask you to do, but leader would have to learn how to listen and understand and execute. How to work together and execute the event. So this is one of the things that I would say I learned a lot from. And then of course, second thing is how to organize things. Of course there's flaws and stuff, but those are your learning path, There's no for sure you have to be correct the whole time. You have to tend to bring yourself down to say listen to others. So those are the things that I learned from.
Yeah, that's great. Okay. Maybe now you can actually share with us, like, what as an environmental engineer graduates do, like maybe yourself. I understand that you are in a different industry before. Before joining the current company, you was in the green building. Maybe you can share with us, like, what can an environmental engineer do actually?
Yeah. To my surprise, to be honest, when I got to know about this job, it was I don't think many people know about this at first, because it's actually called green building. It's actually how do you make your building to be more energy efficient, and so more green. In a layman term, is more green in terms of like how do you save water, how do you reduce the heat coming in, because by reducing heat then your aircon usage should be lower. And then how do you use your material in a more environmental way, how do you reduce your material eventually, things like that. So when I got to know about this company, I was like, wow, this is really good, because I didn't know about this at all. And I got to know about it, and I was like thinking, if let's say every buildings are doing this, it's actually helping a lot, because how many buildings, there are so many buildings in Malaysia, that if we can make it in a way we say greener, then it actually really helps the environment, because in terms of materials, in terms of energy usage, because when you're talking about, we are using fossil fuel to burn and then to generate energy. So those are correlated kind of things. So it actually opens me up a lot, because knowing environmental, we were thinking, to be honest, we thought it's about waste management. When we talk about waste management, how to treat this and that. But when it comes to green building, it's actually an open eye opener for me to say, well, actually, we can actually go into this. To be frank, some people may say, oh, this should be for electrical, or this should be for blah, blah, blah. I think those are just words you hear, but it's how you apply it, in your work, basically. It doesn't have to be specific which type of graduates only can attend for this kind of companies,
But what's your opinions on this green building? Will you see, because you are in the industry and you actually practiced this before, but will you see that this is going to be a trend in the coming years, where in the future, maybe another 3-4 years, green building might be a compulsory requirements for all the new constructions? Or what's your opinions on that?
To be frank, Malaysia probably taking a slower step in comparison to Singapore, because we actually, in this green building, we have this kind of guidelines to comply to in order to certify it's a green building. So we do have Malaysia, GBI and Green IE, and also we do adopt Singapore as well. So looking at Singapore, not to say like Malaysia is not good, just that certain countries takes a faster pace and certain countries not. So Singapore is actually taking faster pace in terms of this greenery, green your building and also energy efficiency. It's like they already prioritize it, like it's a compulsory for them, every new building, you know, they have to achieve this eventually. But Malaysia is more to, it's a plus point for you. Okay, it's a plus point for you to do green building. Eventually, green building will actually help the developers or even, you know, the tenants to actually save more energy, right? It's just that people usually look things differently because they will tend to look at the initial cost, right? The initial cost that actually triggers, then people tend not to like, maybe not, you know, but a lot of times it's actually about the long term. Which this one I will bring it to the next one about my current company later.
Yes, I think that's leading you to where are you now at the moment,
yes,
which actually dealing with a lot of renewable energy. And also this is something that is a very new, and I think it's a very a trend. I mean, out there, people are talking about solar energies, or talking about all various type of renewable energy. Maybe I pass the time to you to further elaborate what's your current job scope.
Yeah, okay, so Sam Aiden, just a brief about what my company is doing. So Sam Aiden started off with two targets, renewable energy and also environmental. So let me focus more on renewable energy. So in RE wise, actually, solar is one of the, I would say in Malaysia, the easiest to be implemented. And I would say cheaper than the other RE. For example, biomass, biogas, definitely you need some raw material to actually generate it, right? For biomass and biogas. And hydro, you definitely need to have at least, maybe there's mini hydro, but it's not easy for your access to actually implement, and hence the cost, right? So solar wise is the easiest because we are talking about your roof is empty, right? We talk about, let's move on a bit. Okay, I talk about the large scale solar first. So this is actually the large scale solar which being implemented in Malaysia to achieve this mixed RE, right? Our government's targets to achieve the mixed RE. So large scale solar definitely is one of the fastest to achieve because it is a larger scale, right? But we cannot depend on that because there's downside to this, because you actually, if let's say you're opening up lands for all this, well, you know what's happening, right? Cutting down trees and whatsoever, despite it might be palm oil, right? But it's still cutting down trees. So the downside is on that part. But in terms of covering the CO2 reduction, well, it has a big impact on that, definitely, right? So next we'll be talking about the rooftop. So this is what I want to focus on, is your rooftop eventually is what people call a dead roof, right? There's nothing much you can do on the roof other than just use it to cover from the sun and the rain. So this is what attracts people to say that you are not wasting any extra space. You're not buying any extra lots or whatsoever land to do this. You are just putting on your roof. So by doing this, solar can actually help you to save a lot. You know, depends on from companies to companies. I can't give you an exact amount. Some can save up to 80%, some 20%, but depends on what is the roof size and everything. So this is one of the easiest and one of the cheapest in comparison in other renewable energy. So a lot of people tend to, early stage, I would say, it was a bit tough to attract people because the cost was way higher, to be honest, compared to now. But eventually there's demand, then there's supply. So China has started up with this mass production of panels, and then a lot of countries are implementing. China is going gigawatts already. So this has reduced the cost tremendously throughout the years, right? So with that, Malaysia, on top of that, Malaysia also gives some incentives to actually, for business, to business owners, to actually, when they do solar, they can actually get this incentive to actually reduce their profit, like, so that your income tax will be reduced. So these are the ways that the government is actually really doing to attract the publics, Then, of course, moving on, we do have residentials as well. Well, the first left top corner is actually my house. So my father wanted to install for quite some time already. So, but the cost was high. But due to the recent years, it went down a lot, by at least 5 to 6 times the cost. So a lot of people, I would say, is actually under an affordable category now, eventually, the solar industry for now. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's like, from your sharing, I see there's a great potential in about this industry.
Definitely.
Because really in the market, people are talking about renewable energy. I think that will actually open up a huge market, job opportunity for environmental engineering. Will you think that will happen in this year to come?
To be honest, like people might curious, like, yes, to be honest, environmental touching on renewable probably is not the bigger portion. As I said last time, we were talking about a lot of treatments and stuff, but it doesn't hinders me from going into it. I just want to share with the others, like, I don't have any electrical background, right? But I took the initiative to learn from it. We don't expect everyone to learn until the boat and not so detailed, but at least for me as a salesperson, I need to understand how it works, right? In order to convince your clients to actually attract them, because we are talking about a huge amount of money, for example, for the first time when they invest, but we are talking about savings for 25 years or more. So how do you balance this and how do you attract people is through your understanding about solar. How do you talk about the main objective of solar in saving energy to their business or to their house, things like that. So it depends on how much you want to learn from and how much you can convince your clients. So those are actually a social skills that I have to learn throughout from my university time, because it seems as what event is how do you attract people to visit your booth, you know? So this is where I learned a lot actually in Utah during my university life.
But I believe that with the technical knowledge that you have, that is much more easier for you to convey the clients, right? I mean, rather than you talk all this like without any facts, with some sort of like environmental background that you have, then it's much more easier for you to convince the client, and you are talking about technical facts and figure to the clients, right?
Correct. Because when you share about all this technical, you have to talk on a bit about environmental, you know, just to boost a bit more than that. It's not about saving your money only. You can actually have saving the environment in terms of CO2 reduction. So especially businesses, they tend to look into that as well, because they are thinking, well, you know, they don't look at all this while, well, this is part of the thing they can treat to you know, green reputation, you know, this is what they call a green reputation for them. So these are the things that people are looking at, you know, CO2 reduction, things like that. So people will tend to actually, especially we talk about those international companies that's in Malaysia or those MNC in Malaysia, they will tend to talk about that for sure, I can tell you.
Great, Klingsmans, for your sharing on this. Now maybe I move to Woon Kit, because Woon Kit is coming from a different backgrounds from Klingsmans, because as an environmental engineer, not just dealing like what Klingsman has mentioned, not just about waste, you know, we are dealing with all these wastewater or kind of that. It's actually more than that. And now Woon Kit actually in the construction industry. Maybe Woon Kit also can share with us like how's your student life back in Utah. I think you are the pioneer group. I think most of the activity you kickstart, then your junior follow down the road.
True.
Then after that, maybe you can actually tell us how you get yourself into the Singapore markets and what are you currently doing as an engineer in Singapore.
Sure. Yeah, it's very interesting to think back of what we have started, and then what step by step, one by one, then until what is established so well today. Sure, let me just do my screen sharing. Okay, you all might see this is like during my school time lah. Okay, is everyone can see the screen? Can, if yes, please type 1 in the screen in the chat box, please. Thank you. I would like to like interact further when I do like this kind of information sharing. Okay, wow, that's quite so many responses. Okay, very well.
This is back in 2010, 2011.
Maybe somewhere during year 1 or year 2. I'm not really certain of what this thing is really. So back to this time, right? As what Klingsman say, right? Okay, let me just like giving some general ideas first. Stepping into university, for me, I would treat it like say it's a stepping into another life milestone of our life, which is like stepping into adulthood. So when we get into this adulthood, right, we need to get ourselves a lot of responsibilities and a lot of those we say our skills and all our time management, etc. So we need to really equip ourselves well by allowing us to adapt into the society in future. So university give us a very good platform for us to really bulk up and train up ourselves in terms of very academic knowledge and also some soft skill for us. Yes, it's really, let's say, we say transition period for us to shape us into a better person. Unlike those kind of school time students, whatever we can do, we don't need to consider the consequences, all these things, no more. Okay, so this is we say again another milestone for as a life. Okay, so I would say during this environmental engineering course, right, as what Tisman shares, then it will be involving not just only academic studies, knowledge studies, but and also a lot of those hands-on, we say practical sessions. Okay, so this is one of the slides that shows that when I'm starting to do the presentation. Actually, you don't. For me, yeah, I'm considered lucky. That time, right, I only got 5 students in the class. So to cater for like this kind of big crowds, right, doesn't happen to me at that point of time. So I can start from a small group to do my, we say, public speaking skills. But if you say it will be, there's a good and bad in each of the experience. I would say. Then I would say, if let's say you can able to expose yourself to more crowd and to train up your public speaking skills, it will be better. Okay, but yeah, it depends on how you guys to manage. Okay, so this is the one of the say presentation in our one of the lecture class. Okay, move on. Then this will be like the kind of surveying class, which we need to get a lot of practical session to bring our technical knowledge into the field to get what's hands-on and what is the really the feedback and outcome we are actually need to get on the practical field. So this we definitely will be covered into the one of the our syllabus, the whole environmental engineering syllabus. Okay, then moving on. Okay, so we are also we also participated in the poster design competition. So it's like we are including all the finding research into one poster, and yes, we do a very summary of the presentation to the not just only the crowds and also to the panels to also one of the sharing session we say to the we call the public speaking. Okay, so these are my classmates, and all of them are attracted and then to get this information well shared. Okay, then moving on. Not okay, this like also we are also joining in different we say collaborate with other courses. From what it shows at these photos is the whole FEGT classes. Because at that time, yes, our class is really not a big size. Then that we got no choice but to like combine all the forces together in order to work out certain activities. I remember that time it's an engineering week. Then we make some sort of the competition to say invent in something innovation, also involved in green element, all these things. I not really remember, but this is like the kind of fun moment that we gone through in a very earlier time. So that time, FEGT consists construction management, electronic engineering, then also what I call industrial engineering, petrochemical, all these young faces around. I think all of us like here are very well matured nowadays. Okay. Then also, then soon or later we are also like able to join our class together with a bigger batch of students. Then we are very, very fortunate to also not just only mingle among our group, but also do some, we say, social practicing around not just only our class, but also to combine with other classes. So it's like they're bringing us and stepping out of our comfort zone to get more exposure to say achieve certain milestone. That time I remember I was like doing the another kind of project or assignments that requires quite a number of inputs from different parties. Then here's how it goes until this what you see now. Okay, then fun moments do some, I would say this one are pretty normal as we come in a lot of groups, group of people, sure we'll have this kind of say gathering outings it's like surely you can't avoid from that. Okay, you can, but all of this right still depends on the individual. If let's say you make yourself so introvert not to join, then sad to say this might not happen to you. But I would say university give us a lot of opportunity for us to say social around, to mix around with different peoples, and then also to get along very well. So this we will say apply throughout in the future working societies, right? Is definitely a very helpful soft skill for you to just like mix into the we say stranger market. Okay, then yeah. Okay, moving on. Okay, this photos, right? What is so handsome, because that time we are getting ourselves into the what you call the internship period, industrial training period. So that time, yes, I was being assigned to the one of the local construction company Brunsfield. And then yeah, two gentlemen behind me, yeah, they both came from UK. So we not just only having say local graduate student, but also those internship student which is came from overseas. So yeah, we worked for 3 months. This is, I would say, a very experienced 3 months for me. Not just only allow me to practice my skills learned from the academic session, but also to learn from what the other university those knowledge being taught to them, and then we do a lot of the information sharing across this platform. Okay, my graduate time now. Okay, you see, this is my whole class already. those
Because
those
you are
will
the
be wearing
pioneer group.
yeah, the one, those one wearing gown is the whole class already. One of them don't know where is sing already. Anyway, yeah, so this will be the fun session. Okay. Moving on. Okay, just now I was also mentioned, right, to step into adulthood, one of the skill we need to equip well is the time management. University time is like you yourself need to have plenty of time aside of doing your academic time. So after that, you have plenty of time. Depends on whether how you want to spend your time wisely or just let this time flow through. You all can do a lot of studies, can also, but I prefer myself to be exposed into those kind of the we say society events, which is like so easily available in among the university life lah. Okay, so okay, this is one of the camp that we organized in back to 2012. Okay, so that's why you see this kind of photos are very vintage for me already. Okay, then yeah, so this we say as long as we handle, okay, for as a student, I'm not say not to say encourage a lot to what you call to join a lot of society activity, but as long as we still as a student we still need to really juggle our time very well. First priority, get our academics result well first, and only then we can seek for more option to join more activities to make the add-on values into our very precious time. Okay, so these are my group of when I joined the joined the first aid society back in 2012. Okay, then this group of people we keep on our relationship, keep on our friendship, and then we even went to Tokyo 2 times for vacation. This one I think in future y'all can also experience this. Okay. Okay.
How,
so
from your experience as a student back in Utah, how you can actually bring yourself into the Singapore market as an environmental engineer, and especially now you are working in the construction industry.
Okay, so okay, it's very simple. Don't like imagine that overseas is a very far, it's a very far distance from you guys. Literally, it doesn't work that way. Especially for now, the era nowadays, right? We can always working like mobile, then it really like bring all of the people's closer through the internet. Okay, then that time was by being I am quite fortunate enough to say, because even though before I graduate, I already start to receive some job offers from plenty of companies. So one of the companies is a consultancy firm in Singapore. Yeah, then that is a really trigger my attraction already. Then okay, that was I was like thinking, okay, Singapore also a good exposure since as what Kisman said, yes, this we say construction industry is a quite good practice because they already starting to establish a lot of those green technology as a kind of policies to them.
Correct.
Before the items, the materials get into the Singapore market, they need to go through a lot of testing. They cannot exceed a lot of those kind of emissions. Those like fail on the environmental conservative part, definitely they are not considered at all. Okay, then moving on into that, then we need to also doing a lot of the buildability score and constructability score in order to let us to track and monitor our kind of job, right, can able to achieve the kind of green technology and include into our innovation ideas into our projects. So we say, it's kind of well established part in Singapore already. When I exposed to this information, definitely, why not? I want to, I would say it's a very good platform for me to getting more and more opportunity to learn instead of just like starting to contribute and work, earn money. Not to say that kind of, but this is a very, we say, compared to Malaysia side, Singapore in this kind of green perspective is still, we say, maybe few years more advanced. Okay, so yes, that's what is like trigger me to come and explore my career here.
Yeah, I think that's is very true because we also have quite a number of alumni working in Singapore
a lot.
market. I mean, in a way, Utah graduate is very marketable. I think it's proven. I think we have you yourself in the Singapore markets and a few others alumni. Maybe now you can actually share with us like what is your daily jobs, as an engineers back in your company.
Sure. Before that, I would say maybe I can share my previous experience in my job. Okay, sure. Better that, right? Okay. When I done my consultancy time, right, I was being assigned to do some building designs for this project, what we call Punggol Water Town commercial project. So this is basically just like a combination of the water park and also the residential area around this platform. So when we say water groundwater soil things this all knowledge that we learn from the course are very, very helpful for us to apply this knowledge into this project. Okay, because like we say when we're starting to do a lot of construction, right, then we will having a lot of the water pollutions, air pollutions, all these things, right. In this area, it's considered as a conservative area, then we are not supposed to do any harm to the environment. So when we starting to do construction, as we say, construction definitely what in the first perspective, right, we are trying to damage the environment, build our own human being things, and then to really damage. But in order to achieve that, we are trying to seek as kind of ecosystem balance, not just only to damage the environment, but also we are trying to insert a lot of the green and this kind of innovation idea in achieving some balance between, we say, harmony living between human being and also this ecology system. Okay, so this is, let's say, considered quite a iconic project when I've been doing as a consultancy time. When you come to Singapore, let me bring you around.
Correct. I think I do agree with Wong what he has mentioned just now. I think now it's very important. Even back in the university now, we also are incorporating, we are blending, like what you mentioned, we need to kind of find an equilibrium or a balance between development and also the environment. That's why this is the reason why in the market people are actually wanting a lot of environmental engineer, because we need you people are the one who actually make the balance. Not just concentrating on constructions, but you need to also take care of the environment. I think that is really a good point from Wong. Maybe you can continue.
Okay, sure. Then moving on, my next project. This one, Orchard Gateway Plaza. So this one, this most likely is at the M&E side. and mechanical and electrical sides of is inserting those green technology parts. When you see, wow, this kind of neon lights, right? Wow, so nicely looking. And then you always see, wow, the night scenery of the Singapore are always so beautifully presented. There's a lot of energy consumed within to allow to maintain this kind of good scenery from there. If let's say I'm not mistaken, right, from the government, right, tend to do a lot of investment in terms of maintaining the green scenery and also this kind of lightings, right? They are like spending like millions per month in order to maintaining this kind of scenery. This is not a small figure. Whereas what environmental engineer can contribute is to how to bring this figure lower, and then we can still achieve a kind of satisfactory result to present it and then become, say, iconic or say impressive image to the, we say, globally. Okay, so yeah, when it comes to Orchard, you can't miss this iconic building one for sure.
Very nice building.
Say, moving on also, this is one of the project I've done as a data center. So data center wise, right, also they're involving a lot of M&E works. Okay, these items, right, we consider M&E also a lot of energy conservative and a lot of the innovative system which we can cater for as environmental engineer to include into the project and help us to allow in reducing of all the energy and cost saving part. So from what I shared until now, right, I keep on emphasizing for different perspective. For construction wise, it's not just only civil build road concreting put a lot of steel rebars, all these things. Not just only that, we are giving a lot of opportunities to ourselves to explore in a lot of different fields. Let's say what Finsman did, he's involving in solar. For us, we do not just only for green in structural part, but also M&E side, in electrical side, architectural side, all is a very good exposure. Okay, this exposure is still depends on how, as an engineer, how are we going to implement into it. Now, that time, right, when I still involved in this project, they're still not introducing such a knowledge into here. But from what I studied and what I've been researched through, right, okay, I can able to contribute my ideas in order to help this, we say, client to reduce a lot of the costing to make their project become more more
sustainable in a way.
Can say so, yes, I agree with Dr. Leong. Okay.
Yeah.
Then this hospital project as well. Hospital, you aware right nowadays, so a lot of precision we need to be made. So this one I emphasize is more on like we say what you call the greenery part. If let's say you yourself are not unfortunately admitted to hospital, but you see this hospital are so nicely been so nice, a lot of green okay, so
it's like a hotel.
But definitely I won't be staying in this kind of building hopefully. Unfortunately, it really sad to say admitted to hospital. We've seen this kind of building, you help us out in our mentally also easily to be recovered. I think
Singapore moved very fast on this about putting its green elements to the building. But and I see this happening in Malaysia also. I mean, that's also lead us to like, that could be another great opportunity for our graduates to get involved, because in the future, we cannot run away from not mentioning or not even talking about environment. Even now, people are all talking about environment. Doesn't matter like what you have mentioned. Doesn't matter you are in the M&E in sectors or whatever sectors, you're still somehow or other you actually relates to the environment, right?
Yes, you can't escape
Correct.
You are living into this earth the environmental things still like surrounding around you. It just like depends on how you want to like say get this balance of the environment and you yourself into it only. Okay, so one interesting point for here, right, I also want to emphasize that when we get into the project, right, there's one of the specialists we call, it says a Boris. Okay, a Boris means you are really focusing and then a very specialist in terms of dealing with all the plants, all the planting things. Yes, as far as you see here, right, Okay, these all plants are what you see in the image are carefully selected in terms of the species, the heights, all the presentation, how it like put the setting up over there. Yeah, everything it will be put it into the consideration. This is, I would say, a future trend in order to make one of the buildings or one of the landscape become so attractive. Okay, we as an environmental engineering, that engineer graduate, definitely you can proceed with this pathway. Okay,
right.
Moving on. Okay, so colleagues, very friendly. Okay, Singapore colleagues, not so like wow, very fierce looking, very not serious people. Yeah, okay, no, not that way. Okay, then yeah, the D&D time. Okay, then moving on. Okay, this project I can elaborate further is another kind of hospital project. This is considered relatively small hospital, but this one it give me as a good idea when I starting to involve as a main contractor. Okay, previously was all like consultant time, but this one I've been involved as main contractor. As main con and those consultants, the most difference is that main con allow us to interact. We say do a lot of hands-on job more compared to consultant. Consultant only are just like contributing your idea and technical knowledge to it. But for main con, you not just only need to assure the information deal are correctly being built, but also you need to do a lot of coordination throughout different parties.
Yeah.
Let's say what am I involving in this project, right? Wow, I think at least I got to deal with like maybe 20 or 30 parties in order to bring all their knowledge, all their items, right, together to form this what we see now. Okay, then yeah, I think this is very engineering drawing, but this is quite normal to us. We say, okay, before we are going to build, then we need to come up with certain of impression for the for this kind of building setup. Okay, now then as what I said, this is supposed to be like kind of toilet. Then what toilet supposed to have? All these things shall be captured. Okay, then also this kind of very, we say, wow, very scientific, very futuristic model things, right? It really does happen around as an engineer life. Okay, you can't escape this thing from anywhere. Okay, so you are really like require quite a lot of the skills in order to allow us master these stuffs. We say reading and understanding of these all models. But don't worry, yeah, I would say for environmental engineering syllabus, right, and we did some like practicing and pick up from the courses. And yeah, this is like, okay, they show me this thing, I can say easily being we say pick up fast a lot. Okay, then I also being given opportunity to also do some mock-up inspection together with some of the minister, we say the MOH, Minister of Health Minister, to see how this we call the hospital project, the one of the rooms. We say this doctor consultation room. Okay, then they will have a chit chat, and then yeah, that's an exposure. See, when you have when we do this career, if you are really facing this kind of, let's say, big shot people, how are you going to react? We can having this opportunity, and then that's, we say you are not like, wow, prepare, how to prepare, you can't do this a lot of the preparation when time comes. That's the kind of experience gaining time when starting our career, not just career, starting for university time until our career time, and then that's how it comes until here. Yeah, okay. Then yeah, another good kind of presentation. So how complicated all these M&E typing works are, and also to check with the structural calculation part. This one unable to run one. So for just giving a bit of hint to the you say maybe environmental engineering students, right? When we do some like say very simple kind of calculation wise, right? Yeah, we always see just only maybe one piece or maybe one piece. Then wow, yeah, coming is so many calculation already. But in fact, right, when we just like deal with the real actual situation, this is the really thing we need to face. And then what I can share to you, this is still not the most complicated one. We can always deal with like multiple story. There's so many of the more complex, more bracing part of the steel structure. We need to do a lot of calculation. But thank God.
Especially in Singapore, all are high rise. Mainly are all high rise building.
Yep. Sure, this thing will be need to take into consideration. Previously I was thinking, wow, this kind of so complicated things. How am I supposed to go and master this thing? But yeah, now just leave it to me. This one, if we never
seems
been
okay,
through,
right?
okay, yeah, it's like okay, but now, yeah, if bring it to all you guys to share to see, this one looks like what Bible or alien verse to you. But never mind, this will be like captured in the courses, and then surely throughout this, we say engineering experience, this will be like slowly captured in our knowledge, and then what I would say a very big satisfaction in our career achievement. Okay, then wow, this thing is also one of the innovative things. Okay, when you see this kind of blocks, is actually kind of wards and ward in the what you call the hospital itself. So this wards, right, got maybe 6 beds inside there. Then everything inside this block is already built well, and then we just like as we build well, and then we just hoist it up to the building and then do a lot of assembly works only. So throughout this kind of we say innovative construction, right, we as an environmental engineer, we are really able to contribute, say, how to reduce the cost and resources labors into the project. Okay, that's not just only all these costing, but also a factor of safety. We are need to take care of all these workers. When are we going to do a lot of high-rise things, right? Then we'll be getting ourselves more of the potential risk and also the hazard for the safety. So when we starting to do all this, this is the technology what you call PVC. Okay, okay. You got time you can share further more. But this PVC thing is more sort of like Lego things. This Lego, you already build one small piece, then you just like hunt down everything into one big piece of block, and then this will be like voila, a full project. Then it's come out. We say, you can imagine that okay, the what you call the if let's say for your memories, right, when the COVID starting to burst out that time, the China really did a miracle, right, to really build up the projects maybe 10 days. Then they come out with all these items, all the blocks, everything already. They are using this technology. Okay, so this is the ways. Okay, then also happy moments for us to do all the parts. But hopefully these kind of happy moments we can come back as soon. Due to this pandemic and what drive me a lot crazy.
Maybe Winkit, you can quickly share with us like what is the expectations of the Singapore market towards the fresh graduates? I mean, now you're in a senior level, but back then, what are their expectations of a fresh graduate?
Okay, sure, no problem. Okay, as a fresh graduate, I would say they doesn't expect you to know everything, but at least you need to have a kind of mentality which you're willing to learn in everything, and then you really willing to get ready on yourself to start to work whichever situation is. Sometimes if you will say there will be giving you a very, very hard time and tough time. Maybe say, okay, so sorry, today there's a condition that requires to really need to work overtime. Not to say I just want to scare you, but sometimes it really does having this kind of situation. Overtime, wow, cannot go back, cannot stay with family, all these things, then we're starting to come into our mind. Yeah, but this one as for young graduate engineers, right? We say sometimes, right, we get ready to embrace this kind of challenges, because when all these things, right, if you not to say it's a very tough time lah, but sometimes it's like giving some, we say, a test for you during the life, in order to say how to get to resolve and solve all these crisis moment during your time. So when another kind of say another incident happen, this all kacang putih, my younger time is really can capture all this time. And then I last time work until so tired, but end up this is the good achievement that we can achieve. Okay, then definitely Singapore wise, they will also having certain, we say, standard. You all cannot be underperformed, definitely.
Correct,
okay, but as long as for we can show our really good attitude and to really give our passion in learning, and definitely I don't make enemy just try to be as close friend as possible to all your colleagues and all your we say all the people working around you. Yes, this Singapore market is always welcome freshie for Utah students. Don't worry.
Good, good. How about Kingsman? How's the expectations of the Malaysia markets towards fresh graduates? I think you coming from so many different industry before, now you're in the sales. So what are the expectations?
Yeah, so I would say it's quite similar to what Chua said just now, because you can eventually put yourself as the employer. They can't expect you much because you are a fresh grad, right?
Yeah.
So how do you prove your worth or prove your capability is by showing them your initiative of learning, your interest of learning, and also don't mind working more than others kind of attitude, you know, because if you tend to be calculative, like for example, for myself, the first company and second company, in actual fact, yes, even Chua, same thing. There's not much of relationship, right, compared to what we studied. So if you were to be, oh, I just do what I know, then you eventually just know what you know. You can't learn more than that. Then people will just say, well, you deserve to be there, as that's all, you know, kind of thing. There's no progression for you. But let's say you take the initiative to learn more, then people will see that, well, this guy actually can do more than that. Well, it's unexpected. People say, wow, it's actually outperformed what I expected. So those are the, I would say, a plus point for the fresh grad to do. Show your initiative, don't mind working more, and learn more is really a good thing. It will help you a lot, definitely, I can say that.
Maybe another question is like, what do you see the future of environmental engineering or environmental engineer graduates in Malaysia context?
I would say it's really blooming in the sense, because you're looking at, for example, both of us are a very good example. We don't really do exactly what we study sometimes, but I mean, it's related, but not exactly the same thing as waste management or waste treatment or whatever. But there's still market for us, you know. It shows that environmental out there now, people starting to accept, because at first probably people tend to say, what does environmental do? You know, what have they learned, you know, like, but eventually, like, I think what Charles says is a good thing is from Utah, to be honest, this one I didn't mention, but what Charles says is actually true. Utah tend to have a better kind of feedback from the markets. You know, people tend to, of course, it depends on individual, but in majority side, we can see a lot of people tend to say Utah has a very good kind of a candidates for them to choose, right? So of course, for individual, then you have to prove you're good Utahns, right? Not be the one, you know, like destroying the whole basket of apple, you know. So it depends on individual, of course, the first thing, but eventually I can say in Utah, and especially for environmental, I would say it's good. You know, like a lot of our friends and colleagues, they also got a job, you know, they don't have any issue. Like for me, green building at my first job, no one think of that as well. But I just got it, you know.
Because the whole course actually developed or actually brand it up into a very, to prepare the students to be a very versatile. So that they can actually be in a lot of industry. Because now if you're just very specialized in one industry, then I think it's a bit difficult, because now all the industry, like I think both of you have mentioned in your earlier sharing, is all interconnected. Somehow or other, it's all links together. Maybe Woon Kit, what's your view in the future of an environmental engineer? Maybe from the Singapore market?
Sure. Okay. As environment engineer, right? Okay, there will be definitely a lot of exposure and then a lot of opportunities you can go and explore. Just only we say that construction industry part, you can not just only structural, architectural, and like M&E side, but also like say forest environmental conservative part. There are all a lot of the things you all can we say get involved. Okay, that then definitely is a lot of time is like we say based on what you're interested in, but it's, a lot of this interest, right, we already actually covered into the environmental engineer syllabus, and then you can just like based on that to explore further in your career path time lah. Okay, then definitely I would say this in future, whatever you explore to the we say the another career path, right, is totally a new level of stuff again. Okay, you are really like setting out a good foundation for you yourself for not suffer so much during the time when you are outside there. Okay, but I would say we say when we starting to have a very good foundation, whatever you'll be progressing in future, it definitely will be very, very helpful to you.
Yeah.
End up, you still what we say we say the most say the things I earn the most, right, is the attitude in learning and also to try to deal with other people. Is the kind of knowledge which I very, very appreciate, which I get from the university life. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that is very, very important. I think the attitudes play a major role in a person's career. Okay, I think now is almost time. I think now we're also 5 minutes past our 5 o'clock. Maybe last questions to both of you. Maybe we can start with Klinsmann. What is your advice to your junior who are still thinking, shall I actually take up the environmental engineering course as their potential degree? What is your advice to them?
I would say, of course, priority is really how to say, is more to, first is your impression towards, like, in all the course you have to go through one round, there's no specific that, there's, unless you already know, like, really that's what you want. But let's say if you are still an open kind of thing, like you don't know what you want, I think environmental will actually helps you to pave your path in a more, like what you say, versatile kind of direction, whereby you can work in almost all these different kind of industry, because it does not fix you one direction. I mean, both of us are very good example that we are doing different industry, but we are from environmental. So it somehow creates a more diversity for you to actually choose more things in the future. It doesn't just bind to you, or you are only doing for this. So I would say, if you are really still not unsure yet, still thinking, take environmental as one of the considerations, because it can actually helps you a lot on determining, having more path in the future that you can actually choose from. Yeah.
And I think that's a great demands in the market, because everyone's are now talking about environment. Yes, no matter you are in Malaysia, Singapore, or even beyond these two countries, I think the whole world is talking about CO2 reductions. That's why renewable energies are so in demand now.
Yeah.
Maybe Unkit, your takes on this? What's your advice to your junior?
Okay, for me, the degree wise, right? Yes, it's still up to your interest in order to pursue. But that's what the good example is I've been through civil engineering time when I enrolled into Utah, and then I switched on to we say environmental engineering when this course is offered. That's why I can do some of the comparisons in between. We say environmental engineering can be considered as more lively kind of course compared to others. Wow, I would say due to that time, really, really study, just like, don't know lah, just like keep on studying only. But for environmental engineering life, it's more like you really mix up a lot of you say elements to make this academic course become more and more interesting. Okay, until now, I'm still having a very, very deep memories to deal with a lot of eggshell, kind of eggshell for my final year project. Okay, this is like kind of experience or exposure which is totally not able to get from other courses. But in terms of the career advancement, yes, I do totally agree with Klinsmann, especially for this kind of pandemic times, right? When this environmental engineer, they give a lot of the kind of multi-diversify of skills in terms of the knowledge, and also all this academic knowledge, right? It really gives a good advantage to we say explore in different kind of sectors. Not just only say, okay, just must only deal with plant or water, air. This way, it doesn't happen that way anymore. Okay, it's not just only Malaysia. So it's totally the same happen here in Singapore as well.
I think I want to add on to what Woon-Kit mentioned just now. It's like is why the course is so lively, because we are actually part of this. We are actually living in this environment. Like you're playing with the eggshell. We do face these kind of issues daily. That's why the course, like what you say, is very lively, very interesting, because we are actually living in this kind of environment. That's why somehow or other it will actually affect us. Like water problem, I think now in Selangor, in KL, in Klang Valleys, somehow or other is related to us. The air pollutions now with the COVID pandemics, these are all related to us because we are actually living together. I mean, we are living in this kind of environment. So that's what makes the course interesting. I think I do agree with Woon-Kit on that. I think that's all from my side here. Really appreciate your time, Mr. Wong, Woon-Kit, and also Klingsman, for spending your wonderful I think now we already exceeded 1 hour sessions on over the weekend. Really appreciate your help. Thanks a lot for sharing with us. So maybe I pass the time back to Mr. Tam.
The faculty is not only offering the environmental engineering, instead we still have the others different kind of the programs, example like the electronics, the industrial engineering, the petrochemical engineering. Some more we have a construction management, and the Bachelor of Technology. There's a 3 years in the work base, and under the electronic system and the industrial management. Okay, so if you're interested into the engineering related programs, maybe you can get further advice from us about the differences of the programs. And if you are by the SPM, then the pathway of you proceed to the bachelor degree, you can go through the foundations that what we are offering, and after that, the bachelor degree. After the bachelor, and you are still interested to further higher to the studies, you can consider for the master study at UTAR, or even like the local U or the overseas universities. And by SPM, you need to go through the foundations 1 year, and that is the foundation in science if we are interested into engineering programs. And the foundation in science is available at the Kampar and the Sungai campus. It is your options whether you want to proceed to the foundation at the Kampar or the Sungai. After the 1 year foundations, you are continue the degree at the Kampar campus. Not only for the engineering programs, we are still offering different kind of the programs like the business related, the mathematics, the science, the food science, agriculture, the social science studies, and some more we have the creative studies, the IT related, and the other difference of the engineering programs at the Sungai campus. This is what we're offering. There are more than 74 different bachelor degree that for your options. And these the science related and the MBBS, the medical related programs. So this is our ranking, the latest ranking that you can see that under the THE, the Time Science Education, the Asia University ranking, we are now under the 119th. The QS, we are under the 157th. So the ranking is so close. It's more in 100 somethings under the Asia. So these achievements from our academic staff and more to our students. So for the next coming webinars, in fact, we have a different webinars every Saturday. And this is a special webinar on next Tuesday. We are invited plenty of the different VIP that to attend for the webinar. So if you're interested, you can just register to the Zooms. So shall we have any further inquiry, you can just check with us through a different channel. So currently we have the live chat service and the video chat service. So you can just go through our website, the study.utar.edu.my, to have a live chat every day from Monday to Sunday, 9 to 5. Or if you're interested to join us through the video chat, you can just go through the link we show at the page. So the peaktimes.com/utar to make appointment for the video chat. Other than the live chat, we have a different hotline on the WhatsApp. So you can just send us a text. What are your inquiries that you can just send through. And the traditional way is the email. So you can just send the inquiry through the email. If you are looking for the bachelor or the foundations inquiry, you can just send to the inquiry at utar.edu.my. And if you are from overseas, you can just send through international@utara.edu.my. Or if you would like to check of the postgrad program, you can just send to postgrad@utara.edu.my. And the Facebook channel. This is our Facebook channel, UTAR for you. So for today's webinar, even we are come to the close to the end of the webinars, but after the end of the webinar, we are still put it at our Facebook channel, UTAR for you. So if you have friends or the colleague that would like to view to our webinars, but not able to join us today, they can back to our Facebook channel, UTAR for you, to have a recorded portions. And if you have any questions and inquiry, you can also send us an inquiry through our inbox under the UTAR for you. Lastly, this is our WeChat account. So if you are prefer to use a WeChat to contact us, you can just scan and just approach us. So this at the end of the webinar. Again, thank you for the Chong Kit and the Christmas to spare the various times to have a chat with us again, and thank you for Dr. Leong to have as a moderator today. Yeah. So lastly, any advice or any suggestions from you, Dr. Leong?
No, thank you very much for all who joined us today, spending the Saturday with us, with our live. I think I really want to appreciate and thanks both our alumni, Kingsmans and Wonkit, for spending their busy times with us. Yeah, do join us if you need more information. You can always refer back to our Utah website. Yeah, that's all from my side.
Okay.
Thank you.
So this is the end of the webinar. Thank you to join us today. Have a nice day and have a nice weekend
Thanks
to
a
you.
lot. Thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Again, thank you
Bye.
for Troy and thank you for Christmas. Bye-bye.
No problem.
Bye.
So we're going to stop at here. Bye.